Welcome back, everyone. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us, and we're going to be sharing the show right afterwards. We have a lot of fun in here when we're doing the show. But
yes, we do.
You know what I love about my show, and I say this every show, and I don't care if I repeat it, I repeat it. The reason why I love my show so much is information for people out there.
Yeah.
My next guest, you've also now been on with me for, I don't know, at least almost a year now. Yeah. I have with me Michael Henderson, and he's the owner of Tapestry Insurance Group. Michael, you are there. You are an advocate for seniors out there that are listening. So listen up, everyone. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do. Where is your little thingy-majiggy?
I didn't bring a sign today. I came from a meeting downtown
next time
had
we got
to rush in.
Keep one with me, and I'll have one for you all the time.
Well, it's the first time at this hour
for me.
My new hour. So this is kind of cool. So we might have some new listeners that haven't heard what we do. I do a lot with Medicare. I mean, that's what we specialize in. We do other insurances too, but we've talked on this show primarily about Medicare, and it's because we're passionate about it. We want to help people interpret Medicare when they go onto it. Yeah,
there's a lot of different components to Medicare, and sometimes it's Medicare season, sometimes it's not Medicare season. But the one thing is that somebody turns. Well, they turn 65 every day.
Oh, man, thousands.
If you're younger than 65, you can help them too?
Yeah. So first of all, any day's a Medicare day, like we talked about last time, right?
That's our new slogan.
Yeah. So there's no Medicare season. We all hear about annual enrollment and things at the end of the year, but there's lots of special elections throughout the year. Don't hesitate to call if you have a question, because there may be an issue that we can help you with at the time. But we do run into situations where we're with a husband and wife or something like that, and one spouse is retiring and they had the group insurance, and maybe the other spouse that is on the group insurance maybe 62, 63, 64, so they're not ready for Medicare yet. So what does that person do? So they're under 65. We can't do anything with Medicare for them. So we do have options for people under 65 as well. Everybody knows it as the Affordable Health Care Act, but if anybody's ever checked into that name is a little misleading because it's not affordable for everybody.
It isn't. I mean, and people even think that Medicare is free, and that's not free either.
Right.
But that's where you come in.
That's where we help them navigate that process and those times of going on to Medicare. But we can do the same thing with under 65.
Right.
The Affordable Health Care Act, those laws changed. So it used to be you would get a tax penalty if you weren't on a plan that was on the Affordable Health Care Act. Nowadays, that's changed. We have other options that aren't sometimes quite so expensive, but they require a little bit of underwriting to go into those if you're under 65. So we've got solutions for just about any age that we can help people with.
Here's what I think, Michael. You tell me whether I'm right or wrong. The medical insurance of the whole thing has just become insane for everyone. Unless you are lucky enough to be, let's say, working for someone and you've got this great medical plan and insurance, you're very lucky.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that. And even if you have that, sometimes it's not working for you. Is that correct?
Well, we've told this story before. Even, so people, let's say you're working for a big company your entire career, for 20, 30 years, whatever it might be. You go every year, that Human Resources Department sends you the notice for your new plans for the next year. Maybe they give you a choice between one or two plans, right? You're going to pick one of those plans because first of all, it's easy, and second of all, they're just deducting it out of your paycheck. Most people make their decision based on how much is going to come out of their check. That's as deep as they ever go into their insurance.
I don't blame them.
If they really get deep into the insurance, they might look at how much the deductible is, right? I'm being a little bit funny, but it's kind of true.
So true.
So now somebody goes on to Medicare, or their spouse goes on to Medicare, and they lose their insurance as well. Now they've got to decipher all this information on how much insurances cost and what's the deductibles, what's co-insurance, what's co-payments, what are all these definitions that they never knew before, and now add in all the Medicare stuff. So it becomes very confusing, especially for a husband and wife that are going on it. One's going on and one's not. They're trying to interpret all that information.
But even if you're under 65 and you go talk to somebody on the affordable pack, because you can do that. You go through Google and somebody will talk to you.
Yeah.
But they have no idea. I mean, really, your situation, and I think they make it even worse for you to understand it.
Well, the problem is healthcare.gov is kind of like the Medicare.gov for seniors. Healthcare.gov is for people under 65. The Affordable Health Care Act is what we're talking about here. It's very good for some people because there's no underwriting, and for some people that have maybe limited incomes, they can get a tax credit on those premiums to help them with their costs. But there's a lot of individuals out there who make too much money to qualify for any of those deductions on the costs, and that's where the costs get very high on the Affordable Health Care Act. That's where that name's a little bit of a misnomer, because it's not affordable for people that don't get the deductions for it. So that's where we can come in and look for alternative solutions that might help them get a better deal.
Now, when you work with people, this is a free service to the families out there. To you, if you're under 65, it doesn't cost us no obligation to talk to him and find out how can he help you. How can he help you navigate whatever your needs are so that you're paying less money? It's all about that today.
It is about that today. Your other guest was about paying less money. You know, it's about paying less money, but it's also getting the coverage that you need. So it's not just about the money in the beginning,
Very good point.
And we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what medical needs somebody's going to have a month from now or 6 months from now. But based on the information we have at the time, what your medical needs are and things like that, we can help decipher that a little bit. But we do the best we can to help save that money and give the good quality of care.
It's a free service to you. It makes sense just to pick up the phone and call and talk. It's not going to be any obligation whatsoever. What I love, too, about you is that, first of all, when they call you, they get you. And then you can help them, and you talk to them, and you find out what their needs are. You cover the entire Southwest. These are new people that are hearing you. Tell them what you do.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk at first. To be fair, you might get my voicemail. Please leave a message, because I am on the phone a lot with people doing these first phone calls. But usually what I'll do is I'll talk to somebody. We'll do a little bit of information gathering. If it's somebody that is close that I can help out of my local office, I'll do that. But I have agents across the Southwest that work with me, and so if it doesn't matter where it is, we'll help connect you with somebody, one of my agents, that can help you with your plan.
And talking with somebody that's one of his agents that's in your area, now you're talking to somebody who really knows what your needs are, because he's right there.
Well, yeah, because if you talk to somebody on the phone, they don't know the area, they don't know the plans that are in the area, the networks of doctors and things like that. Whereas when you sit across the table from somebody that's in your county or in your market, that's when you get the information that you need.
Now, his phone number to call is 602-541-7656. Toll free, it's 800-506-8810. He covers the entire Southwest. This is a no obligation free consultation that you get from him, and it never costs money at all to work with you.
No.
And his website is tapestryinsurancegroup.com.
Yep.
What else should we talk about insurance before we go to a break on the affordable health? That's not affordable health. That's what we should say.
Well, again, I think it's getting that information.
The laws have changed, you said.
Well, the laws have changed because there's no tax penalty now. So before you got a penalty on your taxes if you didn't have an Affordable Health Care Act plan or something of the sort, like a group plan, something like that. Now that's changed last year, so now we can do other plans. So we now just have more options. That's the key. Is I want to bring people options.
I think that's awesome.
Through the education.
They finally did that right.
Well, yeah. Now there's some underwriting on plans that aren't through the Affordable Health Care Act, but we can get somebody on any time of the year. Whereas the Affordable Health Care Act normally has election periods as well.
Oh, you're kidding. I didn't even know that. That's why I love listening to people on my show, because you learn something every day. What would be your final words before we go to a break?
Just call. That information is power, and I don't charge anything to talk to you, so why not give a call and just ask some questions?
And do you do second opinions?
Second, third, fourth,
all of the time. And that's why, again, you're hearing this. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that you know. This is a free conversation that you have with him. It never costs any money to work with him. All you have to do is pick up the phone phone. Find out what's right for you. Is it right? Are you on the right one? If you are, great. If not, maybe he can help you. The number to call is 602-541-7656. Toll free, because he covers the entire Southwest. Toll free, it's 800-506-8810. It's a no obligation consultation with him. It's tapestryinsuranceGroup.com. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back, everyone. And we're talking with Michael Henderson, and he is the owner of Tapestry Insurance Group. And, you know, he's been on my show a long time right now, and he has also helped many, many people out there. When it was Medicare season, that was when he was talking. But you know what? Now he is, we're talking a little bit about more of the people who are under 65 and insurance. We all need help with it. None of us understand it.
Yeah. Well, it's a combo. I mean, we talk about Medicare a lot. We have over the last year talked about Medicare. I just don't want people to forget that there's other there's other insurance besides the Medicare insurance for people under 65.
Understand that they can talk to someone like you for when they think that they like, for instance, when I was to go get insurance for my daughter, I remember I had no idea that I could talk to someone like you that could actually navigate me through that process. I figured I had to do it myself.
Right.
I actually had to call my ex-husband, which that wasn't very good. But so now I have someone like you that I can talk to.
Yeah. So the Affordable Health Care Act, you go through healthcare.gov to get those plans, of course, and to qualify for your rebates and things like that. But we can help you interpret those plans and see. But we have plans outside of the Affordable Health Care Act now because of the change in the laws that people have options now. They don't have to worry about paying that tax penalty at the end of the year if they don't have an Affordable Health Care Act plan. They still might have insurance, but it's not an Affordable Health Care Act plan. So now they don't have those tax penalties. So yeah, we have things that we can talk about with people to just, again, it's just an educational opportunity. Like we've talked about for the last year with pretty much Medicare, it's the same with the under 65. We just want to educate people.
And people should be educated on it because when you're doing it yourself, I don't think people realize that you may not be covered for things that you should be, or because the person you're talking to, whether it's through just whatever you're looking at online, or whether you're actually talking to somebody who is just through their, I don't know how to say portal or however you say that, they don't know what's really right for you until they talk to you and have a story. Everybody has their own story.
Well, you've got a few options. So you can go to healthcare.gov, which will give you the on-screen look at everything, but you got to know what the definitions of the different insurance definitions are: copays, coinsurance, premiums, deductibles, what's covered, what's not. You can also then go to the different various carriers' websites, the insurance carriers themselves, the people that insure you. I can't say any names because I won't. I don't have approvals, but you can go to their websites, but you're only getting a picture of that carrier, so you don't have anything to compare to. Or you can talk to somebody like myself or one of my agents that is there to help you evaluate, and we work with multiple carriers and multiple plans, so you don't have to just be focused on one thing. You get the right thing that's best for you.
And I think that's what we've said on the Medicare side things.
Yeah.
People do not understand that they can talk to you, that it is a free service, but that you don't work for one particular carrier. You work for you basically have all of them, so you have a plethora of different carriers that may be right, different plans that might be right for someone, and the only way they're going to know is by talking to someone like you.
Yeah, plethora is a good word. We do.
That one.
Yeah, the nice thing is people have options, right? It's not something where you have to be tied down to one thing anymore. I don't know that sometimes the options are there's a cost to everything. People don't like to pay for insurance because it's like one of those costs where until you need it, you don't like to pay for it.
Right.
But when we need insurance, it's a little too late to get it. Oftentimes,
I think the people that have the hardest time the most, and there's a lot of people like I work for myself.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people people out there, especially in the last few years or many years now, that started their own companies, their own entity, and who do they go for that? Who do they find out what's right?
Well, yeah. I mean, this country was built on small business, right? On people's ingenuity and doing things, built on people's sweat equity. So yeah, it's what can the small business owner that's a sole proprietor or something do to get insurance for themselves or them and their family, right? Or this day and age, it's very competitive. A small business that may only have 1 or 2 employees, those employees, you want to retain them. So we need to look at maybe a small group policy for that, which is an option for people that maybe only have 1 employee. Believe it or not, with only 1 employee, you can get, if it's a paid W-2 employee, you can get a group policy just like the big guys.
And really, then it costs less for everybody?
Well, it
just depends.
The employer usually will contribute a portion that to retain that employee. It's an employee benefit,
I think
right?
it's awesome. I think more people should do it. I mean, it's scratching people's backs.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people do or not.
Well, a lot of people don't know what they can do, and then without that, it may be a little bit of a cost to the company, right, to have that benefit.
But that's a write-off to them, too.
It's a write-off, but it also helps retain employees. Mm-hmm. It's a real hassle to go out and hire new employees all the time and train them and get them up and running, just to have them leave and go to a company that offers benefits.
Yeah, most of them, people want that.
Yeah.
They really do.
Especially families.
Mm-hmm.
So we help, in a multitude of areas, whether it be Medicare, we specialize in that. We've been doing that forever, but we also do the under 65 market because we all the time are running into a situation with, a spouse that's under 65, and then we also have a lot of small business owners that may only have 1 or 2 employees, or maybe a sole proprietor that doesn't have any employees, and them we can oftentimes help with some kind of policy to just get them through, even if they're just worried about something big happening. They at least have coverage for that big thing.
Now you work with you cover the entire Southwest, and this is a free, no obligation. It's not really just a consultation. You work them through the whole entire process. There's no cost to work with you, is what I'm trying to get out.
Right. So people say, well, how can you do that? Well, obviously we can pay our bills. We get paid from the insurance carriers that you make a decision to go to. However, there's no pressure to do that. There's a lot of people that are on a good plan. We have no incentive to change somebody from one plan to another. We want people to be on the right plan for them. We've been doing this a long time. We're not in it for the one person that maybe we can switch over to another plan. That's not the goal. The goal is to help as many people as we can in the community just be educated on what their options are.
And maybe I've already talked to somebody, maybe you would like to have a second opinion.
Yeah.
He does that all the time for people, and it's very important to make sure that you do have the right coverage for you. It's what it's all about, and saving money. And that's another thing that's all about. Everybody wants to save money.
Well, everybody wants to save money.
But you also want to make sure that you're covered in the for the right things.
Exactly.
Boy, oh boy, when you're not, boy, is that a bad deal.
Well, you want to make sure you've got coverage. You want to pay the lowest rate you can, but also have the coverage. You don't want to find out you don't have a coverage for something that might happen to you.
So basically, it just starts with a conversation. Somebody calls up, and you just start talking to them and asking the questions.
Yeah.
What's the number one question that you do get from people who are under 65?
Well, the biggest thing is the biggest question with anybody is, what are my options? What can I do here? I can't afford this.
Right.
I bet
you have a lot of that.
Sometimes people will go online, they'll look, and they'll say, I just can't find an affordable coverage. Unfortunately, all insurances cost money. It's just a fact. But we can maybe change the coverage, change some deductibles, do some things with the coverage to lower that monthly premium to make it fit for the person a little bit better. It's like your auto insurance. Everybody's got to have it. We all have it. And they tell us we're supposed to evaluate it every year. That's for your car. That's for something we replace every 10 years or whatever. Why don't we reevaluate our health insurance once in a while, with our needs, as our needs change?
And especially as, of course, the laws change. Yeah. But there's also always things that we need ourselves as people. We change. Our health changes. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how old you are. We usually say this when people are older, of course, their medicine changes every day.
Sure.
But when you're younger, there are things that happen to you too.
Well, yeah. You might be healthy as Knox. I mean, when I was 20 years old, I was unstoppable, right? We all are at 20. But you don't know when you might get in an accident or something. You need to have some coverage. Nobody can afford a hospital to stay out of their pocket.
Well, what I love about him is that he is your advocate. Whether you're a senior or not, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
They help in all areas. Maybe you're a small business owner out there. Maybe you're a sole proprietor like me, and you don't really understand it, or you want to make sure that you have the best coverage for you. That's what he's here for, to help. What are your final words?
Again, as always, just give us a call. It's a conversation. There's no pressure. If you don't want to meet with us, you don't have to, but at least you can get some questions answered.
The best thing to do is to pick up the phone and talk to Michael, because he likes to talk to everybody first. Then, with whatever area you're in, if he covers the entire Southwest, he will direct you to somebody who's in your area, who will talk to you. You'll understand them, and they'll understand you. Their phone number to call is 602-541-7656. Toll free, it's 800-506-8810. Check out their website. It is tapestryinsurancegroup.com. This is a no obligation. It isn't just a free consultation. It doesn't cost anything to work with him, and he works you through the entire process. So give him a call. That number again is 602-541-7656. They cover the entire Southwest. We were saying any day is a Medicare day, but you know what? Any day is an insurance day, to make sure that you're covered the right way, to make sure that you get the best coverage for you, and of course the best payment that you have to pay. Again, that number to call is 602-541-7656. It's tapestryinsurancegroup.com.